Jason Rzucidlo reporting from the Henry Hotel in Dearborn for the 15th Annual Women and Leadership in the Workplace Conference. Stay tuned for remarks from today's keynote speaker, Susan Butler.
Thank you, everybody, and it's exciting to be here today. I really want to give each and every one of you a promotion. And that promotion is to be a CEO, but I want to make sure you understand the responsibilities, because I'm going to ask you at the end if you're going to accept being CEO of you, because of the responsibilities that we have for ourselves to make things happen for us rather than let things happen to us. What I thought I would do, Joe mentioned a little bit about my background, but I thought I would just kind of highlight some of the things and what I learned in the process, because I want you to learn from what I've done. We all want you to learn from what we've done, because you've got so much more that you have to learn every day to get yourself to where you want to be. I first, when I was a junior in high school, said, you know, somebody asked me what I wanted to do, and I said, I'm going to go learn how to be a buyer. I'm going to go back to Dearborn, Illinois, and buy these two companies from this husband and wife team, and I worked for the wife. And I'm all set, I'm happy. You know, that's what I'm going to go do. And my friend was from Purdue, and he said, well, Susan, if that's what you're going to do, you need to go to the home ec school at Purdue University. It was the best in the country. Well, it's had several iterations till now, because it's no longer the home ec school. But I found that in a year that my aspirations changed. As we find, our aspirations are changing based on something that has happened. And I got myself into the business school, and the rest is history. My advocate, my first real advocate, and there's a difference between a mentor and an advocate. And I think back about my first real advocate, and he was a professor in my transportation class. And he was the one that Arthur Anderson came to get advice and counsel from about the recruits that they should interview when they come down on campus. This was the consulting side of Arthur Anderson in those days. And he wanted, and I was an undergraduate, and they only interviewed graduate students. So this was a double-edged sword for them, or for me, because I was undergraduate and they didn't know what to do with a woman. They never even thought of a woman, but yet my advocate said, you all need to hire her. You need to have women in your staff. Long story short, they did hire me. I became the first man in the skirt. They said, well, I'm going to have to go back and check with some clients to make sure they'll accept a man in a skirt. And in those days, for those of you that look back, you know, there was no way we want to work like this. I look at the students at Purdue when I go back there, and I say, there's no way I went to class dressed like you're dressed. You know, it was a big thing in the 70s when Arthur Anderson finally agreed that we could wear pantsuits. So I started my career. First I had a job versus a career. What's the difference between a job and a career? Dedication. What other word? What? Something you love, right? Something else? Focus, focus. The reason I said I had a job was I said, I'm going to do everything everybody tells me to do, and I'll do it great. I had a client, go do this. I had another client, go do this. But I wasn't looking up to the manager to say, what do I need to have done in order to achieve that? And when that didn't come about, when I thought I should have gotten promoted, I said, Susan, you know what? You just let something happen to you rather than made something happen for you. And my mentor said, Susan, do you realize that you need to perform the job that you have before you get there? Getting there isn't a training ground. If you want to be a manager or a senior executive, or in my case, I wanted to be a partner in the firm, I had to demonstrate that I could be, though I had done the roles of those positions before I got promoted. And I want you to take that away, because I was just doing things. I wasn't early on, I wasn't focusing on the tasks and the kinds of responsibilities I needed to have had under my belt to get promoted. The other thing that's very important is, one, your product. What's your product? You, right. And every day, every decision you make, you're changing your product. Every day, every decision has an impact on your product. Your product, you have to grow yourself so that you have a product that meets the needs of the job that you're looking of the goal that you're reaching for. As my mentor would say, Susan, if you want to be a partner, start acting like a partner. If you want to be seen as a partner, present yourself as a partner. Talk about yourself, not about yourself, but your points of view, and present yourself as a partner before you even get there. Packaging is really, really, really important. And I have to say, we're all packaged very well today. But it's different today than it used to be. I mean, I did look at the pictures of the speakers, and they're all there in their black suits. And here I am with my salmon-colored jacket. But I can do that. I'm kind of retired from the business world right now. But I can get away with something like this. But your packaging is really important, and how you come across. Simple things about how you shake somebody's hand. How many times have you gotten this kind of handshake? I remember a president of a university, and I could still see myself in this lunch. He comes over and he gives me the wimpiest handshake I think I have ever received. A president of a university, a man. Well, don't let that happen to you. Eye contact. How important is eye contact? How have you been in networking engagements and you found yourself looking over the shoulder to see who else is coming in? Or other people are looking over their shoulders but not really engaging with you. But it's all eye-to-eye contact. And listening. I heard the panelists talking about listening. Be a good listener. In a meeting the other day where we had students, it was a women's organization, and one of the gentlemen in the audience raised his hand and said, what advice would you give to men to engage women and to bring them up the career ladder? And one of the panelists immediately said, learn how to listen. And I'm sorry, men, we all get into, have you tried this? We want to get into this problem-solving mode rather than being an empathetic listener and just having a good conversation. And as one of the panelists said, to listen to hear what you're saying, but also to listen to hear what you're not saying. So being a good listener is very important. So those are the highlights of my career. I followed my gut. I reached out for a job that I wanted, and somebody said, Susan, are you going to risk your job or your career on that new opportunity, which was to develop a training line of business for Arthur Andersen?